So what were you saying about immigrants?
Immigrants built this country.
Well, that's not entirely true, but...
No, they didn't. Settlers did.
Oh, so not only is your alter ego wrong, your ego is wrong as well. But continue.
Well, settlers were immigrants.
No, settlers were colonizers. They colonized indigenous peoples and committed mass genocide of indigenous people.
Immigrants come to a developed nation looking for opportunity.
Okay, now you're just making up definitions that don't actually exist. Moreover, indigenous peoples had complex cultures, they had complex economies, they had complex infrastructure.
Settlers had no infrastructure, no government, no roads, no welfare, no economy.
That's accurate because there were colonizers who didn't know the first thing about surviving on their own. In fact, that's why 3/4 of these colonizers died, because they couldn't do something as simple as grow food. The so-called savage indigenous people were the ones who helped them understand how to grow food and how to not die in North American winters. And they were able to do that because they had complex developed economies and cultures and governments and systems of operation that the colonizers simply did not.
People who immigrated here later on did not come to build it from scratch.
Correct, because the vast majority of what had been built was built by enslaved Africans. That's what these colonizers did. They built a country on stolen land by people stolen from their land.
Well, but immigrants still contribute if they come here legally, if they bring value, if they assimilate. But don't try and rewrite history.
So far, literally all you've done is rewrite history, so maybe look in the mirror for just a minute.
Oh, so you hate immigrants?
Yes, your main ego absolutely hates immigrants, even though she's about to tell you that she is an immigrant.
Dude, I am an immigrant.
Told ya.
I didn't come here for handouts.
You know who did come here for handouts? The European colonizers that you continue to defend, who came here and got 270 million acres of free land via the Homestead Act, land that belonged to Native Americans. And then those undocumented European immigrants, many of whom had no skills and could not even speak English, they're the ones who got handouts. And as a matter of fact, to this day, the descendants of those European immigrants, white people in America, are the single largest demographic to use welfare.
And that's the problem that I have with immigration now. These people want the benefits of America without becoming Americans.
Immigrants can't get welfare until they become US citizens. So whatever problem you have, you concoct it in your own mind.
They come here hating this country.
I don't know of any immigrants who come here hating this country. Just think about it logically. Why would you give up your entire ancestral homeland to come to a new country only to hate that country?
They break the law to get in here.
Northwestern University did a study, found that at no point in the entire last 150 years post-Civil War has there ever been a year where immigrants, undocumented or documented, had a higher crime rate than US citizens. Factually speaking, the more immigrants you have in your neighborhood, the safer and lower crime that neighborhood is.
They are entitled enough to think that we should welcome them with open arms and as if they were heroes.
I literally do not know a single immigrant who's demanded to be welcomed as a hero.
They demand rights that they've never earned.
Rights don't need to be earned. That's why they're called rights. Do you understand how our Constitution works? Due process of law, every constitutional right is afforded to all people in this country, regardless of status. That's why they're called rights.
Reject values that they've never lived.
What values are you talking about? Is it colonizing a land, committing genocide of indigenous people, enslaving Africans, never paying a cent of reparations, denying women equal access under the law?
And feel entitled to a nation that they don't even respect. That's what I hate.
I'm sure you don't hate the fact that immigrants contribute over $100 billion in taxes for which they get zero benefits. I'm sure you don't hate the fact that immigrants have the lowest crime rate of any demographic in this country. I'm sure you don't hate the fact that Fortune 500 companies are disproportionately started by immigrants. But something tells me that as a MAGA apologist who has a complexion for protection, you are just trying to demonize black and brown immigrants. So I say this as an immigrant, as a US citizen, and as a human rights lawyer who has actually studied our Constitution, our laws, and our history. Next time you want to demonize immigrants, maybe first open a history book and actually understand the process by which how this country got built in the first place. It certainly wasn't by colonizers, and it certainly wasn't by hateful bigots like you. Class dismissed.